The most eagerly anticipated game at year.
You said that last week, Harold.
I know I said that last week, Mother.
Why don't you come up with something new?
Shut up and finish your jigsaw. Anyway, Heavy Rain is a character-driven interactive murder mystery, and I know what you're thinking. It's just like one of them choose-your-own-adventure novels, or one of them awful interactive FMV CD-ROM games at 90s. Well, you're wrong. Not all of them interactive CD-ROM games were that bad. I'll have you know, some had their merits. Very few, but some. Anyway, this game is much more sophisticated than both in the quality of its graphics, direction, performance capture, that's acting in computer speak, and most importantly, its story. We are first introduced to Ethan Mars, the game's main protagonist. On his son's 10th birthday, he wakes up alone in his plush expensive house, and as he goes through his morning routine of shaving, showering and dressing, we are given clues as to the type of idyllic lifestyle he leads, as well as the method in which you control the game. It is in these first few curious and on the surface slightly dull moments that the genius of this title starts to become apparent. The game is sucking you in, identifying the player with its characters, forcing you to become emotionally involved with them in a way that when the rug is finally pulled from underneath them, the pain of hitting floor is as heartfelt in the player as in the character. And that rug is the death of his child. Don't worry, I'll put as few plot spoilers in as possible. And when Ethan's other son is kidnapped by the origami killer, sorry, last spoiler, I promise. A serial killer who kidnaps his victims and then drowns them in rainwater 5 days later. Why 5 days? Look, it just does alright. Yes, despite its best efforts, Heavy Rain, like many Hollywood films, does require you to suspend your disbelief slightly. So, we are set on a race against time for Ethan to go through a series of sick challenges, a bit like David Fincher's The Game, or one of those awful Saw films to find his son before his number is up. As the story plays out, we are introduced to 3 more playable characters. Scott Shelby, a private investigator hired by families and other victims to find killer. Norman Jaden, an FBI profiler brought in by the police to help find the killer, and to be honest, is a little bit wet. And Madison Page, a photographer and journalist on the trail of the killer. Bit of a tease. All the characters have their own unique paths, although they do converge at certain points depending on the decisions you make, and they all have their own problems to deal with. The story itself is well paced out, with the slow moments of drama never far away from fast-paced tension, with the quick time events really giving the player the constant feeling of being an hair's breadth away from failure or death. But the slow moments are so important in developing the characters and forcing the player to become emotionally involved with them. When the eye drama does occur, it is all the more tense for the fact that you really care about them. It is, however, when the game attempts to provide some of its gentle touches that it does become a bit ham-fisted. I find it ironic that in a world of high-definition graphics, in which developers can animate the effect of a bullet on another human's head with grisly clarity, they still can't have 2 characters showing affection for each other without it looking as awkward as the puppets kissing in Team America World Police. That is, of course, if you make the decision to be affectionate. You don't have to kiss the girl, you don't have to do a lot of things, but everything affects the outcome of the story. Despite this, it is questionable as to whether this is the freedom of choice or the illusion of choice. There are a myriad of events that affect the outcome of the game, however some characters and story elements are so rooted into the core of it that they cannot be changed. It's not a butterfly effect with infinite number of possibilities, that would be impossible. The story will end one way or the other, no matter how successful you are at playing it. You cannot fail in the normal sense of the word from a gaming point of view. You will still finish the game no matter what. But once you have completed the story, you can go back to any chapter and make different choices and set yourself on a different path. So, could we be breaking new ground with this game? I think so, yeah. Even to the point that you could argue that this isn't a game at all in the traditional sense of the word, and we need to define a new genre. But one thing for sure is that a level of characterisation and the situations and themes that they are dealing with are dealt with in a manner of maturity that has previously only been reserved for other forms of entertainment. Not many games force the player to deal with the pain of losing a child, drug addiction, or even love and affection. And it is this bravery that I think will set Heavy Rain as a landmark title in gaming's history. I don't think all gamers will like this title, but I also think that a lot of non-gamers will. And the fact that this is such a different and compelling experience means that everyone should have a go at playing it and decide for themselves. And then maybe we can come up with a name for the genre. Interactive story game-like thing. Story-based gaming on game. Store game. Steam. Whatever.
And all the other spirits that prowl the world in search of souls into the darkest depths of hell.
Enough, Nathaniel! Put the gun down! Immediately! Back away, slowly.